Question 856. Sale or rental transactions of properties built before require a lead-based paint disclosure. A. 1998. B. 1988. C. 1978. D. 1968. Correct answer is C. 1978. Lead-based paint was commonly used in homes built before 1978. To protect public health, especially children, federal law requires sellers and landlords of pre-1978 housing to disclose known lead-based paint hazards. This disclosure helps buyers and renters make informed decisions and take necessary precautions to mitigate lead exposure risks. Buyers of these houses must be allotted a 10-day period to conduct a paint inspection or risk assessment for lead-based paint or lead-based paint hazards. The Consumer Product Safety Commission banned the use of lead-based paint in residential properties in 1978, making that the cutoff year for the disclosure requirement. Question 857. Broker Charles took a listing to sell a home. The owner told Charles over the phone that the property was in good shape, and Charles never inspected it. The owner showed a buyer the property, and the buyer decided to open escrow with the owner, which then closed a few months later. Which of these facts are true? A. Charles has violated the law. B. Charles has not violated any law because the property has no material defects. C. Charles has not violated any law because the buyer did not ask him any questions about material defects in the property. D. The owner has violated the law. Correct answer is A. Charles has violated the law. Real estate agents have a duty to inspect properties listed for sale and disclose any known material defects to potential buyers. Even if the seller claims the property is in good condition, the agent should conduct a reasonable inspection or verify the information provided by the seller. In this case, Charles failed to fulfill his duty of care by not inspecting the property. If the property had undisclosed defects that were discovered after the sale, Charles could be held liable for damages. It's important for real estate agents to prioritize transparency and honesty in their dealings with clients to avoid legal and ethical issues. Question 858. Jason conveys an apartment he owns to Richard for 1 month. The property interest held by Richard can be called A. Non-freehold estate. B. Term for years. C. Either A or B. D. What Richard has cannot correctly be called a property interest. The rental period is too short. Correct answer is C. Either A or B. When Jason conveys an apartment to Richard for a fixed period of 1 month, Richard holds a leasehold estate. Leasehold estates are distinct from freehold estates, which involve ownership. Non-freehold estate term encompasses any property interest that is less than a freehold estate. Leasehold estates fall under this category. Richard's interest for 1 month is certainly a non-freehold estate. Term for years, or estate for years, is a specific type of leasehold, non-freehold, estate for a definite, fixed period of time. The duration can be anything from a few days to many years, as long as it has a specific beginning and end date. Richard's interest for exactly 1 month fits this definition perfectly. Any legal right to possess or use property, even for a short time, constitutes a property interest. Since a term for years is a specific type of non-freehold estate, both terms correctly describe Richard's property interest. Question 859. An agent owes a duty of honesty to A. Third parties. B. Real estate commissioner. C. Title company. D. None of the above. Correct answer is A. Third parties. An agent owes a fiduciary duty, which includes honesty, loyalty, confidentiality, etc., to their principal. They also owe a fundamental duty of honesty, fairness, and disclosure of material facts to all other parties involved in a transaction, third parties. This means an agent cannot intentionally misrepresent facts or engage in fraud, even with someone who is not their client. Question 860. An estate of indefinite duration is called an A lifetime estate. B. Estate of inheritance. C. Freehold estate. D. B and C. Correct answer is D, B and C. In real estate, estates are generally categorized based on their duration. Non-freehold estates, or leasehold estates, are for a definite and limited duration, e.g., a lease for 1 year, a month-to-month tenancy. Freehold estates are estates of indefinite duration and involve ownership interests in real property. They can potentially last forever or for the lifetime of a person. An estate that descends to an heir and thus endures throughout 2 or more lives, hence the indefinite years aspect. Note, though, that not all freehold estates are estates of indefinite duration or estates of inheritance. Other freehold estates are referred to as estates not of inheritance, or life estates, which exist only for the term of a person's life. The ordinary conventional life estate with remainder or reversion, for example, does not continue for an indefinite period, but terminates when the person on whose life the estate is based, or the life tenant, becomes deceased. Question 861. A loan using real estate as security and not relying on insuring or guaranteeing the loan is called a conventional loan, B. Conforming loan, C. VA loan, D. FHA loan. Correct answer is a conventional loan. Conventional loan is a type of mortgage loan that is not insured or guaranteed by any government agency, like FHA or VA. It relies solely on the borrower's creditworthiness and the collateral, the real estate, for security. This matches the description perfectly. A conforming loan is a type of conventional loan that meets the guidelines set by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. While it fits the not insured, guaranteed criteria, conventional loan is the broader category directly defined by that absence of government backing. VA loan is guaranteed by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. FHA loan is insured by the Federal Housing Administration. Therefore, the loan that fits the description is a conventional loan. Question 862. All of the following buy loans on the secondary mortgage market, except A. Fannie Mae, B. Freddie Mac, C. FHA, D. Ginnie Mae. Correct answer is C. FHA. The secondary mortgage market is where existing mortgages and mortgage-backed securities, MBS, are bought and sold, providing liquidity to primary lenders. Fannie Mae, Federal National Mortgage Association, a government-sponsored enterprise, GSE, that is a major participant in the secondary mortgage market. It buys conventional, FHA, and VA loans from lenders, packages them into MBS, and sells them to investors. Freddie Mac, Federal Home Loan Mortgage Corporation, also a government-sponsored enterprise, GSE, that functions similarly to Fannie Mae. It buys conventional, FHA, and VA loans from smaller banks and thrifts, securitizes them, and sells them to investors. FHA, Federal Housing Administration, is an agency within HUD that insures mortgage loans made by approved lenders. It does not buy or sell loans on the secondary market. Instead, its role is to protect lenders from losses in case of borrower default on FHA-approved loans, thereby encouraging lenders to offer loans to a broader range of borrowers. Ginnie Mae, Government National Mortgage Association, is a government corporation. Ginnie Mae guarantees mortgage-backed securities, MBS, composed of FHA, VA, and USDA loans. While it doesn't buy the loans themselves, its guarantee makes these MBS attractive to investors on the secondary market, indirectly facilitating the flow of capital. Therefore, the entity that does not buy loans on the secondary mortgage market is the FHA. Question 863. An option agreement must include a term stating the A. Offer will remain open indefinitely, B. Offer will remain open for a definite time period. C. Offeree can assign the offer to another party. D. Offeror can revoke the option offer at any time. Correct answer is B. Offer will remain open for a definite time period. An option agreement is a contract that gives the option holder the right to buy or lease a property at a predetermined price within a specific time frame. The option period is a crucial element of the agreement, as it defines the window of opportunity for the option holder to exercise their right. The optionee pays for the right to decide whether or not to buy within a clearly specified period, e.g., 30 days, 6 months, 1 year. Without a definite time frame, the agreement lacks certainty and would likely be unenforceable. An option cannot remain open indefinitely. It must have a defined expiration. While many options are assignable, meaning the optionee can transfer their right to another party, assignability is not a required element for an option's validity. It's a common feature but not essential for its creation. The entire point of an option is that the offeror, owner, cannot revoke the offer during the specified time period, provided the optionee has paid consideration. If the offeror could revoke it, it would not be a true option. Question 864. A property may lose its homestead status if A. Homestead owner builds another property. B. Homestead owner moves out of state. C. Homestead owner records another homestead. D. Homestead property is destroyed in a flood. Correct answer is C. Homestead owner records another homestead. A property may lose its homestead status if the owner ceases to use it as their primary residence, or if they take formal action to claim a new homestead. Simply building another property doesn't automatically terminate the homestead on the existing one. Unless the owner moves into the new property and establishes it as their new principal residence. If the owner moves out of state and establishes a new principal residence there, the California property would cease to be their primary dwelling. Since homestead protection applies only to a principal residence, moving out and establishing residency elsewhere would cause the California property to lose its homestead status. Homestead owner records another homestead. This is a definitive legal act that causes the loss of the previous homestead. In California, a homeowner can only have one declared homestead exemption at a time. If a new declaration of homestead is recorded for a different property, the previous homestead is automatically abandoned by operation of law. California Code of Civil Procedure Section 704.990a. The physical destruction of the structure does not necessarily remove the homestead status from the underlying land and any remaining equity, especially if the owner intends to rebuild or it remains their primary residence location. Both B and C can lead to the loss of homestead status. However, C, homestead owner records another homestead, is the most direct and legally explicit action. That definitively terminates a prior homestead, as it's an action taken by the owner that automatically abandons the previous claim. The final answer is C. Question 865. A rider in a contract would be an A. Acceleration clause. B. Amendment. C. Encroachment. D. Donny. Correct answer is B. Amendment. Acceleration clause is a specific provision within a loan contract, not a separate attachment. Encroachment is a real estate term referring to an intrusion onto another's property, not a contractual element. Donny is a party who receives a gift or bequest, not a contractual component. In a contract, a rider is essentially an attachment or an addendum that modifies, clarifies, or adds to the terms and conditions of the original agreement. Therefore, a rider in a contract would be an amendment.